Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, MIL wants to babysit when FIL has COVID. The smell. Pressured about childcare. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL wants to babysit when FIL has COVID. I am so frustrated and angry. My FIL just came back from a wedding. He went solo and was feeling unwell on the trip. He took a COVID test while there and it was negative. But he felt worse and took another test when he got back and it was positive. He called us right away to let us know he had COVID and not to bring the baby over. I appreciated the call. But minutes later, MIL called and told us to bring the baby over. She tried to downplay the whole situation. She said FIL was quarantining alone and that he was perfectly fine, that it was safe to bring baby over. My H declined and said we were going to be safe and stay away during the quarantine period. My MIL then tries to emotionally manipulate us and went on and on about how it has been so long since she saw baby, and how much she misses him, etc. My H loses it on her and tells her how selfish she is being and hangs up. I am so frustrated, and this is yet another reason why I can't stand her and don't trust her. She proves over and over again that she doesn't care about my kids. She only cares about herself and what she wants. If she truly loved them, she would want to protect them, not purposely expose them to COVID. The baby is only one and isn't vaccinated or anything. She could have done the right thing and told us that while she will miss baby, it's best to keep him away. She could have made me trust her more. But instead she tried to downplay it and make us feel bad for protecting our child. It's so incredibly selfish, and it's what makes me so angry and sad that she can't put them first. Okay, vent over. Ugh. Props to FIL for being responsible and notifying you. Yes, this time he was. He had COVID before and failed to tell us. Like MIL, he also downplayed it and lied to our faces about how sick he really was. I cut them out for a really long time after that incident. So it was nice he told us this time and was honest. Okay, this may be petty, and to be fair, I've also caught something and doc isn't ruling out COVID despite neg test, and I'm kind of grumpy, but this seems like the perfect opportunity for positive reinforcement. I would take a pic of Elo to FIL thanking him for being concerned about Elo's health. You really do want to reward FIL for being so honest, to balance out the heck he will probably catch from MIL. I really hate how these MILs feel access to their grandkids completely trumps those grandkids' health. I love the idea of positive reinforcement for FIL whilst completely ignoring MIL. I couldn't imagine. My MIL almost cried on the phone while she was frantically calling me because she tested positive after being around my son. She had allergy symptoms, but we live in a place where you almost always do. Then she lost her taste and smell. She felt so bad, but I knew she wouldn't have done it on purpose. Luckily, no one caught it at my house. Then she just got annoying every day asking if he was okay. I'm so sorry she is so selfish that she would think it's okay to risk that. This was my mom's response. My MIL, on the other hand, played it off as just a bit of a cold/chest infection, waited till she was better, then came and saw my premature newborn. A week later we all had COVID, and maybe a month or two later she finally admits they had COVID before meeting her and didn't wait the expected 3 weeks being symptom-free. My rules. Hold on. I gotta go get my shades cause hubby's spine is so shiny, it's blinding. Way to go, so. I was just gonna say. Way to go, so. Wish mine would grow a shiny spine like yours and realize the emotional blackmail she puts us through. Well, at least you know you can't trust her, but that your FIL is a decent person and your H won't put up with that nonsense. The next time she plays that kind of game, use the phrase you used in your post: you're trying to downplay our concerns and make us feel bad for protecting our child. That kind of emotional manipulation is not going to work. We've made our decision and it's final. As someone who is dealing with being sick with COVID for the third time, tell your MIL to pound sand for me. That's horrible. I hope you don't get long COVID effects. This random internet stranger hopes for the best for you. I mean, there is this amazing invention called the video chat. She could very easily have asked to use that instead of trying to manipulate you for no good reason other than her own selfishness. On the plus side, at least you know for sure what you're dealing with. I guarantee if you tried to video chat, she'd spend the whole time passive-aggressively talking to the baby about how she never gets to visit and all that BS too. If you don't already have a video doorbell, I would highly suggest getting one in case she tries to show up unannounced. That DH is worth his weight in gold. She showed you who she really is. If you didn't already know. Treat it as a gift that you know who she really is, and now you won't feel guilty saying no in the future. The smell. I've posted here before, just before my MIL arrived in the country, as I was worried about how it was all going to turn out. It's all going pretty well, since we don't see her very often. She's unbearable, but she is not bad a person, like the cases of other MILs that I've seen around here. She is a very difficult person to deal with, but I am lucky that her son can stand her less than I do, so I usually follow his lead when it comes to his mom. She spends some time at my house from time to time, maybe every 1 or 2 months, she spends a few days at my house. Those days start off well, but as they go on, we put up with her less and less until eventually we call an Uber and send her to a sales, where she lives permanently. We mostly do this to give some free and relaxed time to a Sael. I can tell how she likes to leave Sael house, but don't really enjoy being at our place, since we don't fall for her manipulation and victimization. One of the things that defines the time she spends at our place is the smell that my house starts to have when she's there. Once our house starts to smell like her, awful, I know it's time to send her home. How is it possible? Can the toxicity be smelled? Can negativity and narcissism be smelled? OMG, I can't believe it. OMG, yes. I cannot stand my JNMIL, but her stench just lingers in our house after she finally leaves. She had bariatric surgery that makes her rip the nastiest silent but deadly farts all the time. She puts on layers of baby powder and this awful perfume to mask the farts she rips constantly, but never says excuse me unless someone walks into a cloud of toot and starts gagging. My sister's former MIL was never diagnosed with anything, no problem here, but when she visited she brought her odd and unpleasant smell. Sis did a ton of research to try and understand. She discovered there are a few mental illnesses that have an odor. So your MIL smell could be from anything, including her brain. Whoa, so interesting, can you tell us more? I can smell Parkinson's disease, I'm like unfailingly reliable. When my MIL visits, she sprays her overly pungent perfume on the curtains and throughout the house before she leaves, and it is the worst smell. DH brought it up because it's very obvious it's sprayed directly onto furniture, curtains, carpet, etc. She had the audacity to say, "AWWW, you smell me after I leave and you reminded of me, that's so sweet." He responded with a quick, "I know it's so overbearing we have to open the house, clean the carpets and wash the curtains so the dogs and everyone can breathe." Which we responded with, "Well, what do you expect? My perfume is so expensive. It's $250 a bottle." He told her if that's the case next time she's here she has to put her perfume on outside. She's marking territory like the animal she is. She is marking her territory, the human version of a cat pissing on everything in the house. I hate my mother's perfume. It makes me sick and I can't breathe. She's always like, "You should see a doctor for those allergies, every time I see you you're sick or always sniffling." Like, dude, it's you. I can breathe just fine every other day. I asked her to stop wearing perfume to my house because I'm allergic to it and she always forgets. I have to make excuses to drive separately because her car is awful and I can't even breathe in it. Why do so many old people insist on wearing perfume every day? It's disgusting. The older one gets, the worse one's senses get, including the sense of smell and taste. Old folks need to practically bathe in their perfume/cologne before they can smell it, while the rest of us are choking on the fumes. Oh no, ha, I could never deal with a bad smell from a person. Also, I don't encourage guests to stay over, and if it happens, it is never more than one night. Upon wake up, the sun comes in, the air is circulating, the house-scented diffusers are pumping, and the vacuum is going. Smells are such a trigger for me. Yes, mine smells, too. Mine is about 60% body fat and as a result cannot wash herself properly. She often gets sores between her rolls and they pus. I used to apply a powder to her, but no one does that for her now. We moved away, and the smell is worse. She also just smells like fast food because that's all she eats: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She claims it's old person smell because that's how her mom smelled. Nope, that's fast food sweat and pus. I've never met another old person that smells like you. Every sentence was worse than the last. My mother-in-law rarely showers. I literally had to yell at her to shower more than once a month or two, because I could taste it, and she's starting to do it again. She also seems to believe if you can't taste her several different air sprays, or her laundry stuff, each one is a different scent too, it's not working. And she lives with us. I don't leave my room unless I have to. Oh, that's terrible. You're being held hostage in your own home. Besides this lack of hygiene and disrespect to you in your home, where is your partner in all this? It's their mother and they should be addressing the situation. You can't be a prisoner in your own home because one person refuses to be a decent housemaid. There is an old saying by Benjamin Franklin: guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. LOL. Well, she believes that it's normal to spend a couple of weeks at our place every once in a while. I can't stand anyone around for more than 3 days. I make the exception with her. BC, we are always avoiding her, and okay, when you come, you come. Ick if it's a Caribbean thing, but once she asked my mom, who barely knows her, to spend a week at her house. Also, for her son is sometimes difficult to send her home. BC, she's used to throw a fit the moment he says, "I'm sending you home today." PSHHH, after 6 hours of fish smells, and I feel the same about guests. Pressured about childcare. Hi, I'd love a bit of perspective about whether I'm unreasonable or not. Our son, 11 months, is starting daycare shortly. It's close to our home, it's our preferred choice of childcare option, and we made it very clear during the pregnancy that this would be happening, and we were not considering grandparent care for a variety of reasons: distance, burden of care on grandparents, freedom to request certain things versus grandparents wanting to do things their way. On the face of it, MIL says she thinks daycare is a good decision, despite disagreeing initially, but several times now my MIL has said how upset she was / that she won't be minding the baby when I go back to work. She has said she wanted a good experience of a grandparent relationship with the baby that she herself didn't have as a child, so she thought she would be let mind the baby so she could have this. We haven't had the need for a babysitter, and I feel there is a huge resentment that baby will go to daycare before they have been asked to babysit. I end up tying myself in knots outlining our reasons for going with daycare and trying to soothe her upset. I feel very angry about all of this. Sometimes it feels like an overwhelming anger. I didn't think I needed to know grandparent opinion at all, let alone have to factor it in. I feel self-conscious about time with my baby now, almost like I'd been a bad person to deprive my MIL of this experience she wanted. Bearing in mind, baby visits them weekly, they get regular photos and video calls, and have been on holidays with baby too. I feel like I am being ground down until I eventually say fine and change my plans. The topic is only brought up when my husband is out of the room, which upsets me as he is on the same page as me and wants daycare. Boundaries have been an issue from the start, with things like my MIL repeatedly calling my FIL daddy around the baby. Of note, he's not called daddy by his own kids, and never has been, saying frequently that she has to remind herself she is not the baby's mother. She has had no caring responsibilities yet for the baby, pressuring me to agree to let her have first experiences, wanting to buy first shoes, wanting to buy certain large toys, guilting us when she's not there for certain firsts. I sometimes sit and think that all of this is a problem with me, and I'm a bad person. On the flip side, I know this baby has probably triggered something in her about her own experiences, and she's acting out as a result. I'd love some other perspectives. The topic is only brought up when my husband is out of the room. Every single time she brings it up, "Wait, DH, get in here, your mom just said XYZ, what do you think about that?" As for the firsts, I would be direct and tell her she had her chance with her kids, and it's your turn with your child. Firsts are important to you and DH, and you fully intend to hog every last one of them to your slevs. Stop discussing things that are non-negotiable. Practice in the mirror if you have to. MIL, we've already told you our decision on this. We consider the matter closed. MIL, you are entitled to your feelings, but we will decide what's best for our family and our decisions are final. DH. Could you come in here for a minute? Your mother needs you to explain to her what our decision is. I'm not being clear. Please stop calling FIL daddy. It will be awkward when we have to tell Elo that it's untrue. DH is the daddy. DH is daddy. Please call Grandpa something else. It's very odd to me that you have to remind yourself that my baby is mine. It is a little unsettling, and if it continues to be a problem, we'll need to rethink time together. You can't remember that my baby is not yours? That's really sort of alarming. Perhaps Elo spending so much time here is part of the confusion for you. I can correct that to make it easier. This is my baby and my chance for these firsts. You had your own child and your own chance. Please respect my right to my own child. No, we didn't invite you for this. We felt that this milestone was for the parents of the child in question and not extended family. Your baby is not her emotional support animal. That's why I don't question being in seat with my mom. Saw her starting to do the same things with my, then, 3 years old that she used to do to me, and didn't want another generation burdened with responsibility for her emotional dysfunction. Good for you, OP, for putting your Elo first. Ouch. Exactly. Anytime she starts in on you when your DH leaves the room, wait till he returns, then say, "Hey honey, your mom just said. What do you think?" Calling her out and putting it on your DH to show you're aligned together in your decisions. This. Definitely. I wish I had done this earlier in my marriage. She has said she wanted a good experience of a grandparent relationship with the baby that she herself didn't have as a child. She's making this all about her. But it's not about her, it's about what is best for the child, and you get to decide that. Keep those boundaries up. Totally agree with this. Your child isn't her ticket to reclaiming whatever experience she missed out on. Grandparenting is a privilege, not a right. When she brings it up again, you can ask her, MIL, it seems you have some difficulty accepting our decision to send Elo to daycare. Is it upsetting you so much you think you should talk to someone about it? It is hurting our relationship when you keep bringing it up, because it comes across as not respecting us as parents. We need that to stop. If you want some help figuring out how to do that, I can help find out some professionals for you to choose from. That way, you've, again, told her to accept and respect your decision, and told her you've heard her complaints. Those need to stop because it is hurting your relationship with her, but the only thing you can offer is finding someone she can talk to about it. You are not a bad person for making decisions based on what you think is best for Elo instead of what makes MIL feel better. She is an adult. She can cope or get help to cope. A good grandparent relationship is not a daily caregiver relationship. That's a different animal. She wants to be the daily caregiver for the baby. You are not a bad person at all. The fact that she only says these things when your so is not in the room tells you that she is being deliberate about it. There is literally nothing you can say or do to explain your side, because she fundamentally does not care about your perspective. She wants what she wants, regardless of whether it's good for LO or so are you. Perhaps next time she says something, just say loudly, "Honey, your mom wants to know why we're doing daycare again." And then just sit and wait and let that awkward silence sink in for the old bat. No words, no explanation from you ever again. Your husband can field her, you can save your breath. She wanted a good experience of a grandparent relationship with the baby that she herself didn't have as a child, so she thought she would be let mind the baby so she could have this. In other words, she wants to use your baby to meet a core need of her own. Tell her to get a therapist. You are not at all the problem here, stick to your guns. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.